Hi, for all of you who don't know me, I'm Rohit Sachdev. I'm the CEO of Soho Hospitality. Welcome to the evolution and revolution of the food and beverage industry in Thailand and the rest of the world. But not 2021. It's more like 2025 or 2030. Some of you may ask me why. Primarily because recent data has shown that we have vaulted 5 years forward in consumer and business digital adoption in the span of 8 weeks, declared McKinsey business consultancy in May 2020. In online shopping, the progress was even more rapid, 10 years growth within 3 months. In banking, experts canvassed by The Economist magazine reckon that the share of cashless transactions reached levels not expected within 2 to 5 years from now. Experts term this phenomenon as tech-acceleration. So what happened in F&B? In the food and beverage industry, it was as if a global reset button was set on the industry. Restaurants that were faring well were brought down to their knees. Those that were already struggling were immediately wiped out. But a select few thrived, primarily because their concepts were more aligned with emerging F&B trends. But there was also a tech acceleration in the F&B industry as F&B operators were forced to drive innovation in order to improve operational efficiencies. New POS systems have emerged, which are giving traditional players a run for their money. These systems have advanced CRM and loyalty programs. But the biggest and most prominent tech acceleration in the F&B industry happened in the third-party delivery space, where the gross merchandise value in 2020 in all of Southeast Asia grew 183% from $4.2 billion to $11.9 billion. But if you actually look beneath the veil of this exponential growth, you would actually realize that the third-party delivery business model actually does not work. In Thailand, Grab announced a loss of 1.7 billion baht in 2019, while Foodpanda announced a loss of 1.3 billion in 2019 as well. Merchants haven't fared better, with some merchants being charged up to 35% of their revenues as commissions, which is not giving them any sustainable yield as well. We believe a disruption is looming in the third-party delivery space. We don't really know how this disruption is going to actually pan out, but we feel that new and emerging models will come into the market, models that are more merchant-centric, giving power to the merchants, offering them more empowerment, charging them less commissions, and finally giving them control over the customer data. But delivery is here to stay. And what it's done, it's redefined dining forever. The definition of dining today is staying at home in your pajamas, picking up your phone and having your restaurants come to you. So what is dining out? Dining out is now entertainment. And all F&B operators are going to need to have entertainment component in their current and existing F&B concepts in order to survive. And as a result of dining become entertainment, food is no longer the decision-making factor of going to a restaurant anymore. Food is still an important factor, but today the atmosphere of the restaurant takes center stage. The interior design, the lighting, the branding, the uniform, the tabletops, those are the things that our customers are looking for, as well as going into a restaurant that has a buzzy vibe. And the pandemic finally dealt a fatal blow to the fine dining industry. There was a research done which showed that the global market share of the fine dining industry as a result of the pandemic, there was a 50% loss in the fine dining industry, and these numbers are not expected to improve post-pandemic. And what we're seeing are fine dining chefs are reinventing themselves. Rene Redzepi of Noma, ranked #2 in the world in the best restaurants in the world, recently transformed his fine dining establishment into an $18 burger and ice cream restaurant catered to families. Closer to our shores, Chef Garima Arora of the restaurant Ga, ranked #15 in Asia's 50 best restaurants, shifted her focus to a new restaurant called Here, which is an all-day canteen that opened recently in Bangkok. So what are we going to do? What do restaurant operators need to do in order to survive in the future? Today, marketing activation takes ultimate precedence. F&B operators are going to need to have access to marketing experts that are going to help them to devise a comprehensive marketing strategy. And by that, I don't mean social media marketing. An essential CRM strategy is very, very crucial, including the personalization of the customer experience, using technology as the enabler, and making sure that we're storing and collecting reliable customer data at a time in which data is the new currency. The industry also needs to glocalize. By glocalize, customers are still looking for global innovations, but with the loss of the tourist demographic, it needs to be done with local taste and preferences. Customers need to focus on the local palate and the local flavor profile. This is not a time for trial and error. Restaurant branding also becomes very, very important, and operators need to place a greater emphasis on their branding ideology. Consumers are overloaded with content at a time in which brands are trying to vie for their spending power. And in order to cut through that noise, F&B brands need to make sure they're communicating with a very clear tone of voice, personality, and messaging. Most importantly, brands need to focus on their sense of purpose and answer the question why. Think of your brand not as a product, but as a human being. That would be a good place to start. And lastly, evolutions of traditional roles in F&B. The restaurant manager is no longer just a manager, but he becomes the CEO. He has to be involved in more than just operations, getting involved in the marketing activation of the brand and playing a key role in the collection of reliable data so that we can start doing personalization towards our customer experience. The CEO also needs to be empowered and be given autonomy to make decisions, and he has to be given performance incentives to succeed. As far as the chef is concerned, the chef needs to spend time outside of the kitchen, engaging with customers and also being involved in the activation of the brand in terms of restaurant collaborations, events. But once he's done doing that, he can head back into the kitchen and start preparing your favorite meal. Soho Hospitality is an interior design, F&B consulting, and marketing agency. We work on projects worldwide with some of the top operators, and the best way to leverage our capabilities is to help us show you how we can increase the ROI of some of your restaurants. Thank you very much. Okay.